And what the drivers say they fear most of all is a head-on collision with a blind tube mare.
Personally, I think the management should round them up. Get rid of them.
What's up, YouTube? Hello. So, Jim Jefferies Part 5. Let's power on with this, shall we? This is, I think, the penultimate video. So, yeah, let's just dive. Right. Well, in a second, you'll see. In.
Oh, it's going to be popular in Europe. Now, this last story happened 5 years ago and involves a very famous movie star comedian. I won't say his name as he comes out of this story very poorly. 5 years ago, I was performing at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. I was out there before my career had taken off over here a bit. I was out there supporting a very famous comedian. I was just doing the 10-minute warm-up in a big theatre like this. And for me, it was a great stage in my career because I'd never been flown overseas to do a gig. I'd never met a movie star. I'd never performed in a theatre. It was exciting times, you know. I get to the stage door after the gig, and there's like 300 people waiting in the alleyway just to get this guy's photo or an autograph or something. And I'm standing up to the side like a bit of a douchebag, like. And then these two 18-year-old French-Canadian girls come up and start talking to me. Now, one of them's all hot and 18 and whoa, right? And the other one's more fat. So, I'm talking to the two girls. Eventually, the movie star stops doing photos, and he walks over, and the girls lose their fucking shit, right? We go out drinking. It gets to like 4 in the morning, and they yell last orders. Now, every man knows this moment in the night. You've been working on a girl for hours. You haven't closed the deal. They've turned the lights on. They've yelled last orders, and you're in that pressure cooker of time where you have to go, "Ah, you want to fuck?" Right? So I'm going to let you in on a little secret, which a lot of comedians do. I'll tell you what I did in this situation. I said to the girls, I said, "Hey, let's stay out drinking." And the girls go, "We can't. All the bars are shut." And I said, "Not the bar back at our hotel. The bar at our hotel is still open." Now, I should mention at this stage of the story that I knew full well that the bar at the hotel was not open. We get back to the hotel, the bar's shut, and I'm like this, "Oh, no! This is fucking bullshit." Thank fuck I have drinks up in my room. And then the girls come up to the room, and the spider web of deceit is complete. Now, we're all up there drinking. After about 15 minutes, the other comedian becomes what I can only call rapey. He wanted the two girls to kiss each other, but he wasn't doing that drunken, "How about you two start kissing?" He was grabbing the back of each of their heads, going, "Do it! Kiss each other! Do it!" Now, I was sort of in awe of this guy, so I was kind of nervous, so I was like, "Ah, don't do that." But there's a bit of my brain going, "But if you pull this off, I'm right there with you," right? The guy sort of checks himself very quickly. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry, girls. I don't know what came over me." And we forgive him rather quickly. But we continue on drinking. About 40 minutes later, we run out of Coca-Cola to mix with the Jack Daniels, so I go to the vending machine to get more Coke. I come back in with all these cans of Coke under my arm. Now, obviously, since I've been away, the rapiness has surged back through his veins because he now has one of the girls pinned up against the wall and he's tearing at the top. The other girl's on his back trying to fight him off. Now, as exciting as it was to see my first rape, I really felt like I should intervene. But I was nervous, so I was kind of like George McFly from Back to the Future. "Hey, you. You get your damn hands off her." And he gave me the most evil look I've ever had from another person. He slammed that girl against the wall. He fought the other one off his back. And he looked at me and he goes, "I'm going to make sure you never work with me again. And you girls can fuck off as well. I'm going to bed." Then he storms out of the room and he slams the door behind him. Now, the girls are about to cry, so I've got to keep things upbeat, right? You know when you're with a child and a child's fallen over and there's a small window of time where the child doesn't know it's hurt itself? And if you just go, "Wow!" the kid sort of goes, "Oh no, what's happened?" So he's stopped now, the girl's about to cry, and I'm literally going, "Whoa! Oh, someone had too much to drink now, didn't they? Oh, don't cry. I'm not going to rape you. Look. I'll lock the door, okay? He can't get back in, but you can't get out." No, I'm joking. There's no rape. So the girls calm down. I go over to a table in the room and I start cutting up a gram of coke. Now I turn around to offer the girls a line, but the look of horror that is on their faces. These are 18-year-old girls. They've never seen cocaine. I might as well turned around with a belt around my arm holding a needle just... So as soon as I saw their faces, I tried to downplay the situation, so I went... I've never done it before. The bad man gave it to me. It's probably horrible. I'm going to throw it away. So gently scrape the coke back into the wrap. And for a man who'd allegedly never taken cocaine in his life, I fold the wrap up like an origami ninja. Just... And then I looked at the girls and I went, "Well, I'm off to the bathroom." And I go to the bathroom, my own hotel room, and I start doing cocaine off the toilet seat. I come back out a little bit more chipper. I lay down between the girls. Every 10 minutes I'm getting up and doing cocaine. I'm coming back. I'm still drinking whiskey after whiskey. So I'm drunk, plus I'm coked up, but I'm trying to act like I'm not coked up. And so I'm trying to hide everything in front of the girls. And that's given me the appearance of cerebral palsy. Because I'm just laying between the girls going... And then the hot girl goes to the bathroom, and the big girl gets on top of me and starts making out with me. And I'm so wasted, I don't give a fuck. I'm taking all comers. I'm like, big fat person. It's like extra person, right? And then the hot girl comes out of the bathroom, and the big girl gets off me as though nothing had happened. She makes a hell of a sound. And then the big girl goes to the bathroom and the hot girl starts making out with me, or I start making out with her, or who can remember. So when the other girl comes back from the bathroom, I spring to the end of the bed and I went, "Look, here's the deal. We've all been making out. We should all get naked and fuck." And the big girl's already taken off her top like, "Yeah, let's do this." And the hot girl goes, "I don't want to do that." So I pointed at the big girl and I went, "Your job is to convince her." I'm going to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I do another fat line of Charlie. I peer out the bathroom door. The two girls are naked. I'm excited, but I've never had a threesome before, so I panic a little bit. So I jump back into the bathroom in front of the mirror. I'm like, "Ha-ha! This is fucking brilliant! 40 minutes ago there was gonna be a rape in this room. I've really turned things around." And then my brain goes, "You've just taken a gram of coke in 40 minutes. And I look down and my cock shriveled up like a walnut. And I'm like, "Oh no!" And I start hitting it like it owes me money. I'm trying to reason with it. Come on, it's two 18-year-olds. This is what we've always talked about. I'm stretching and trying to get blood flow back into it. But I've got nothing. I don't know about you, but when I take coke, I bloat out and I sweat like a beast. And I'm all fat and sweaty with this gnarly little fucking cock. My mouth's like cotton and I'm just looking at myself in the mirror like... This is you. So I just owned it. And I just walk out all fat and gross, like, hello, ladies. The big girl's going down the hot girl. The hot girl's head's at the end of the bed. So I put my flaccid cock into the hot girl's mouth, which sounds like an aggressive move. And it was. And she's sucking on this flaccid whiskey coke cock. And I've got no decorum. I'm just over her head going, ha ha ha. And my gut's resting over one of her eyeballs like she was a meat pirate. And I'm sweating profusely from my forehead into the other open eyeball. And after a minute and a half, she pulls my cock out of her mouth and goes, we're not doing this anymore. And you know what I thought at that moment? Good call. I really pushed that boat out as far into the harbour as maybe it should have gone, you know? I just wanted the girls to go home. I wasn't going to make them happy. All I wanted at this stage of the evening was to have me coke wank. Now, if you don't know what a coke wank is, let me explain. When you take about a gram of cocaine or so and you get home and you're laying in bed and your friends are gone and the sun's about to come up and the depression's about to set in, you masturbate for around 4 hours. Now, this sounds excessive, and it is, but don't think you're enjoying yourself for 4 hours. For 3 hours and 58 minutes, you're in fucking agony, because the cum's right at the end of your cock, but the nerve centre in your brain refuses to pass the message on to shoot it out, and that's what keeps you at the table like a bad gambler. Now, the most important thing with a coke wank is to keep your focus. You lose your focus, you're fucked. You've hit the reset button, you've got to start again. I'll tell you how I do it. I lay on the bed with my laptop really high up on my chest, with the battery burning into my ribcage. I put the most horrific porn I can find on the screen, which often is just women punching each other. I put my hand behind the screen so I don't have to see how violently I'm fucking myself. Then through cuts, abrasions and bruises and using tears as lube, eventually you will come, but you're so dehydrated it doesn't come out in a fluid state. You just shoot like these 6 gelatin chunks. Now, ordinarily, when you come on your chest, it's best to get a towel and mop it up, but this stuff, just roll it in a ball and chuck it in the corner. Then after you come, you realise something you didn't know before. You're almost dead. Your heart's beating at a very irregular pace. Your mouth's like cotton, so you peel yourself off the mattress to get water, but your thighs are cramping up. You walk away, you turn around, you see a sweaty outline of your body on the sheet. And it looks like the Shroud of Turin. Anyway, I was looking forward to doing that.
Okay, that's probably a bad place to stop, but hey, I don't like my videos going on too long, you know. People get upset. Right, so, wow. I'm in awe of that sort of brutal honesty there. And I think that's a trademark of quite a few comedians at the moment, like Bill Burr, who sort of says things that he shouldn't say and admits things and tells stories about things that sort of make him look bad, but it's refreshing. It's I'm not sure if that story is 100% true, to be completely honest. Well, parts of it anyway. I'm sure the bare bones are. But I mean, with Jim, there's a similar thing. I saw him interviewed on some program. Can't remember what it was now. And he was talking about meeting Alice Cooper, and he was talking about how he'd taken magic mushrooms and everything had gone really weird. And it's refreshing to hear people admitting that they do bad things, or actually in my opinion, not a bad thing, but a socially unacceptable thing. There's also a series, I think it's on HBO, can't remember what it's called now, but I've watched a lot of that on YouTube, and it's very similar. It's called something like I Can't Believe This Is Happening or something like that. And it's very similar, people talking about their drug experiences or weird sex experiences or whatever, very frankly. And it's very entertaining and obviously very funny. And I think that is partly why so few comedians are religious. Two main reasons. I mean, obviously the fact that religious people tend to find it very difficult to admit their faults, or that, I mean, in one sense, they will completely admit their faults and say, I'm sinful and terrible, to the priest or in the church service. But there's a lack of frankness, I think, because there's a lot of shame, because if you're religious, you're shit, and you're only anything with God. That's the general idea of most religions, in my experience. The other reason I think that most comedians aren't religious, or don't appear to be, well, actually definitely aren't, because a lot of the great comedians that I watch definitely talk about not being religious, and why they aren't, is creative thinking. Because if you're truly religious, creative thinking is discouraged. You need to enter a mindset where you believe one thing, there is one truth. You can't bend too far from that and still call yourself, a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, whatever. You have to some extent, I mean, Buddhism isn't really a religion, but you have to some extent, close off a side of your brain and say, well, I'm not going to consider the alternatives. There are exceptions. I mean, I know Christians who call themselves Christians, but who are sort of searching and questioning and whatever. But I've always thought that if you're religious, if you call yourself a Christian, but you spend your whole life wondering whether it's real and questioning it and actually maybe not believing some of it, then why call yourself a Christian? And yeah, if you are truly religious or over religious, maybe, it's probably not a very good way of putting it, then you won't think creatively because you're told not to. You have to believe the rules. And of course, humour and comedy is very much about thinking about things that could happen or might happen, or what if the world was like XYZ. So yeah, anyway, that's my little analysis. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the last part soon. Don't nobody go nowhere.
And in a statement issued just 10 minutes ago, the Home Secretary announced that he personally will be going into the tunnels this weekend, armed with a special gun.